Good day, everybody. Udalder here, and welcome to a mod spotlight on the mod Redstone in Motion. This is a mod by Jack J, and it's all about frames. Now, if you've ever played with Redpower, you remember frames, right? Yeah, I think they were introduced in the late 1.25, and we also had them in 1.4, and they were amazing. However, Redpower wasn't updated for 1.5 or 1.6, and in 1.5, Jack J decided to code Redstone in Motion. Now, Redstone in Motion is pretty overpowered, I have to say, but it is such a cool mod. So let's get right into it, and I'll show you everything you can do with this mod. So, first off, you have five different types of frames. You've got the frame carriage, the support carriage, the structure carriage, the platform carriage, and the template carriage, right? So we've got the orange, blue, yellow, lime, and purple. So the way you craft these, first off, you're going to need to get yourself some of these, some carriage cross pieces. Now these are made with some sticks. Then you take those, surround them with sticks, you'll get some carriage panels. With those, you can make carriage frameworks. With those, you can make the frames. So the frame carriages, I should say, are made with orange dye. The blue one is made with lapis, Dandelion yellow, lime dye, and this one is made with purple dye. Pretty straightforward. Now you're also going to need to get yourself a screwdriver made like so. Very important piece of this. And there you go. Now, there are a few more things that you've got. If we check here, you've got four different types of engines. Motors, I should say. Carriage movers things, right? We've got the carriage motor, we've got the carriage engine, we've got the controller, and a translocator. So I'll talk about all of this stuff in this video. So let's get started with the basics. The very basic frame you've got is the frame carriage, and the very basic engine or motor, whatever, is the carriage motor. So if we get these two, the carriage motor is made with some redstone blocks, a furnace, and a block of iron. Pretty straightforward. So what you do is, let me get some stone real quick. If you want to move stuff, go ahead, put one of these frame carriages down. You can see through it, right? High definition textures, yeah. So this is the very basic carriage, and when you move this, it's going to move any blocks adjacent to it. So any blocks connected to one of these open sides will get moved when you move the frame. So to demonstrate, let's take this carriage motor, put it down, and this motor is touching this frame. The motor has to be touching the frame, but the frame could have been here, right? The motor could have been here. It doesn't matter as long as they are touching each other. Now, depending on what way you want to send your frame, you're going to have to apply a redstone signal on different sides. So if I want to send this that way, which is south, I'm going to have to apply a signal on the north side. So I apply a redstone signal on the right here. It's going to send the frame to the left. And the other way around, of course. If I apply a signal here, it's going to send it that way. If I go ahead, put the frame here, and apply a redstone signal from the bottom, it's going to move the frame upwards. Very, very straightforward. And the motor stays where it is. Now, in Redpower, if you remember, you could move any blocks of the frame motor. You can't do that here. You can only move these five different types of carriages, right? So there we go. That's the very basic stuff. So to demonstrate the rest, I'm going to use the engine because that's the more commonly used one, made with a motor and some redstone torches. And this guy will move with your frame. Put this down, you can see it's blue and not orange like this one is. When you try to move this one, the engine moves with the frame. So this moves the frame, which connects to the engine, which moves the whole thing, right? Now, I said you can connect anything to any of these frames and it's going to get moved with the frame. And that's correct. You can go ahead and put a piece of stone right here, and it's connected to one of the open sides of the frame, it's going to get moved with this. I could put one here and on top as well. That's also going to get moved with it, right? I could put a piece of stone here. It doesn't matter where it is. All frames connect. Well, all blocks connected to these frame carriages, the orange ones, will get moved. Now, if I put a piece of stone right here, of course, that's not going to get moved with it because it's not touching the actual frame. And of course, if this block is in the way, that's not going to move that way because this block is trying to go here and it can't because this is in the way. However, if I move it now, I can keep moving it because now this new block is touching the frame. So it's going to connect any blocks it touches. Now, this could be a problem. And how do you resolve this? Well, take your screwdriver, right click on a side, and now this side is blocked. What does this mean? If I put a block next to the blocked side and try to move it, it doesn't connect to the block and doesn't drag it along with it. And that could be very useful. Now, you might think that these frames are ugly. Well, that's not a problem either. Just take a crafting table, take your frame, craft it with any type of block, right? You could use model blocks. As long as it's a solid block, you can craft it like so. And now you can see that it, well, here looks like stone. So you put it down, it looks like a frame. However, when you close the side off, that side will look like stone. So I could move this piece of stone right now, and no one would even notice it's a frame, unless they have Wayla installed, of course. So there we go, that's the very basic frame that you'd use. Now, I'm going to tell you about the rest of the frames before I get into the rest of the motors. So let's go ahead and take a look at the support carriage. Oh, actually, one thing I missed. If you connect multiple frames into each other, of course it's going to move all of the frames. Might be a little obvious, but it's good to know. And of course this redstone torch is now touching this frame and gets moved with the contraption. If I put a frame down here and it's not going to move, it's trying to drag the grass block underneath here with it, but it can't. Just a quick note that you can connect frames together. Pretty obvious, but you know. So next up we've got the support carriage. Now this guy is it's pretty awesome, and it is gonna do a different thing than this one. This one carries blocks directly touching it. This block carries entire body of blocks it's connected to. So what you go ahead and do is just put down any type of motor, one of these frames, and all blocks connected to this. Every single block connected to the blue frame. Now, these blocks aren't connected to the blue frame, but they are connected to blocks connected to the blue frame. I hope that makes sense to you. So all of these blocks are connected now. You know, these torches are, well, they count as blocks, right? So this frame is now touching this block. Everything moves. Every single block. So this can be very overpowered. If you want to move your house, for example, that's not a problem. You could go ahead and build something like this. I'm going to show you real quick what I mean with your house. But I mean, I can build this floor right here. Just like this. I mean, this is a 7x7. I could have my wall right here. Right here I've got my crafting table. I've got a chest. I've got a chest with some redstone torches in it. And you know, I could just go ahead and move my entire building because all blocks are touching blocks touching this frame. Right? So this support carriage is very overpowered, but it's so fun, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. So the next frame I'd like to talk about is the platform carriage. I'll do the structure one and the template one in the end. Now the platform carriage doesn't really do much. It's a very basic carriage. You put it down, and you can see that if I break this actually and put it one up here, you can see that all but one sides are blocked off, right? So these frames are blocked, these sides are blocked off and one side is open. Now, you can right click with your screwdriver to adjust the side that's open, So the top is now open. Now the right side, well, the west side is open. Now the east side should be open. North, and like that. So what this frame does is not just that, but actually, oh, and you can also shift right click to set it to the opposite side of the one you're right clicking at. Just a quick note. What this frame does is it will move a straight line of blocks. Now, if that doesn't make sense to you, let me show you. Right? So let's say we have a huge wall here. This is a miniature, of course, of a huge wall. So this is a pretty big wall, and you want to get rid of all these blocks. And you don't want to put frames here, because then you're going to have to break these blocks to cover it up. But you just want to move this line of blocks. Now, a huge wall is a bad example, but maybe you want to, I don't know, bring a whole bunch of grass blocks up from the ground or something. But this frame is very useful when you want to move a straight line of blocks. Now, so if I move this right now, it's going to move that line of blocks. No other blocks at all. I could put lots of blocks here. Actually, that won't work, but it just moves a straight line of blocks, right? Now, that doesn't mean it moves all blocks up to the the top of the world. It just moves the blocks connected. So another example would be this. You could go ahead and put one of these carriages right here, with a platform carriage right here. You could set this side, and over here, all the way over here or something, I could break this block, and now I could go ahead and move this entire body of blocks up. So I honestly can't really think of a use for it, but if you need to do something really weird, then this might be useful. So that's the structure carriage. No, not the structure. The platform carriage, right? So very cool. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you the structure carriage now. This one is, well, also a little overpowered, but it's very cool. It carries an entire cuboid of world. If you remember the blue one, it carries all blocks connected to each other. So let's say this is my house, right? And up here I have a lamp, right? And let's say up here is my ceiling with all a whole bunch of stuff, right? Now this block isn't connected to any block. Only the blocks connected will move. So if I try to move this now, it doesn't move the lamp, which is a problem. Now this it's funny how this one says it right and not the others. Oh well, the structure carriage will move an entire cuboid world. So you could go ahead and build a cuboid any shape, as long as it is a cuboid, right? So it can't be, you couldn't build it like this. It has to be right corners, right? So this, for example, would be a cuboid. So you have to build it like this, and once you are done, take your screwdriver and you right click on the 4 corner blocks on this side, 4 corner blocks on this side. I could do the opposite ones, but you have to right click on 2 of the sides on the side, not the opposite ones, but the ones next to each other, like so, and the 4 blocks on the top or the bottom. Now, if you do this right, I mean, you could do all the sides, it doesn't matter, but once all of these frames are completely closed off, you've done it right. So now, what happens is all blocks inside this structure, these blocks, this block, all of these blocks are inside this structure. This is not inside, this is inside. All the blocks inside this will get moved, whether or not they're connected to each other or a frame. So everything just moves. Very, very cool. So you could build a house inside one of these one of these huge ones, and you can move your house wherever you'd like to in your world. You don't have to worry about blocks being connected. Everything inside this cuboid will get moved. Very, very cool. So that's the structure carriage. And the last carriage I'd like to show you is the template one. Now, this is probably the most powerful one of them all. You can build any shape with this one. Any shape you'd like. It could be like this. As long as they're connected to another frame in the same structure, you can build them any shape you'd like to. So this would be a valid shape. This is a valid shape. Right? Very cool. So once you've got your structure, I'd recommend you having one block that you want to move, because once you're done, you'll end up with one frame moving the complete structure. Right? So for example, if I right click on this frame right now, all the other ones disappear. So all the other frames in the structure disappears, but the one I right click on. Now if I right click again on this one, you'll see some ghost frames. Now these are all the blocks that I placed down. So every block inside this structure will be moved when I move this frame. So I could put these pieces of stone right here, and if I try to move this now, those two stones will get moved. Not that piece of stone, but these two. Now, this means that you could build anything. You could build a tunnel bore, and it could go through. You don't have to worry about connections on the side or anything. If I had a wall right here, it wouldn't matter. So you could build anything, using these. So there's also one thing I want to demonstrate. I want to demonstrate that you can build like multi-block structures and move them as well. And this is a perfect example. Let's go ahead and put a valve right there, and let's put a valve right here. Doesn't matter how you build your tank, of course. You could build it any way you want to. It doesn't have to be a tank, it can be any multi-block. So I've got this thing here, and it's all inside this structure, right? All inside the blocks I put down before. Now, go ahead and move this. Moves the entire structure. No lag, nothing whatsoever. You know, it saves the data of the multi-block as well. I could fill this up with a whole bunch of water if I want to. And you know, it moves, the water's still there, no problems at all. So this is the last type of frame that I wanted to show you. It's really, really powerful. I'll post some tutorials later, probably tomorrow if you're watching this, the date was uploaded, on what you can do with all these different types of frames. This is just very basic examples, of course. So that is the template carriage. Now, there are a few things more that I'd like to show you, and the next thing I want to show you is the carriage controller. Now this is a carriage that will move according to computer craft and control. So if you have computer craft installed, this will be available to craft. It's made with a motor and some redstone repeaters. Just take this one and grab yourself a computer. And I'm really bad at computer craft. I'll try to explain it as good as I can. But go ahead, put your controller down like you normally would do. You know, build your frame structure. Let's say we've got this as our structure with some stone right here on the sides. Right? And if you apply a redstone signal, nothing happens, you know. You're gonna have to place down a computer. I'm gonna put down this advanced computer right about here. Now, one thing to keep in mind is, let's open Lua. When you move a computer, it gets reset. So if you have a program make sure to start a program that does whatever you want the computer to do. You know, the programs get saved, but the computer resets, and I'll show you what I mean when I do this, when I move it for the first time. Right, so what you have to do is you're going to have to wrap the peripheral. So we're going to call the peripheral drive, right? And let's see, peripheral.wrap. We're going to have to wrap it on the left, of course, because it's on the left. So let's wrap it like so, and then the command for it is just move. So the peripheral.move. So drive.move, and you've got 3 parameters inside this parenthesis here. The first parameter is going to be a number, and that number decides what direction you want to move the whole structure, right? So 0 would be down, 1 is up, 2 is north, and if you open up your F3, you can see that 2 is north here, like I said. East, it's a little off, but at least 2 is north. Never mind, just keep in mind that 0 is down, 1 is up, 2 is north, 3 is south, 4 is west, and 5 is east. Right? So let's say we want to move this north. Means we're gonna have to put 2 right here. Right? The second parameter is a boolean, so either false or true, and this decides whether or not you want to simulate the movement of the structure. So if you set this to true, it's going to simulate the movement and make sure that it works. So we're going to start by showing that off. And the last parameter decides whether or not the controller, or the carriage, will move with the contraption or if it will stay put. So if you set this to true, the controller will stay, and if you set it to false, it'll move with the carriage. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to false. And now, if I enter this, it's going to give me true. Why? I set it to simulate, which means it's going to check, can this contraption be moved? If it can't be moved, it's going to return true. However, if I put a piece of stone right there, now it can't move anymore. Try it again, it says false. Carriage motion obstructed by block, and gives me the coordinates of the block that is blocking it. And that's the coordinates of this block. So very, very cool. Let's go ahead and change true to false. And let's press enter again. It all moves. And like I said, the computer resets. So the programs are still there. Just keep in mind that it resets, right? So, label your computer and that stuff before you move it. If you've got some advanced programs on there, of course. So let's try this once again with some other... actually, let's go ahead and exit Lua. And let's call this move. Edit. Oh, edit move, sorry. And we'll do the same thing. I really hope this works. It's been so long since I did computer craft stuff, but you could create this program, and I'm going to wrap it again to the left, because that's where it is. And let's do drive.move. Let's again move it to the... Actually, let's move 3 now. So that should be south. So it's going to move towards us. Oh, sorry. We don't want to simulate it. And now let's see what happens if we set false here. Actually, true here. And this should work, as far as I'm concerned. Let's try it. Okay. Doesn't work. Shit. I call it move, right? Oh. Peripheral. I hope that was it. Yeah, there we go. That was the problem. Right, so it moves. Now, we still have move here. However, the computer resets. So put a start program or something in there. Make sure you do that. So you can move stuff with computers. Very cool. Now, last but definitely not least, we've got the Carriage Translocator. This one is fantastic. Now, before you use it, make sure you got a crafting table and a few different types of dice. So I'm going to go for purple and light cyan. Sure, that works. The translocator is made with some ender pearls, a compass, and some obsidian. And what this does is it will teleport your carriage to anywhere. Anywhere. It could be anywhere. You could teleport it to the nether, to a Mistcraft age, to the end, to another place in the same dimension. Anywhere. So go ahead and build your cool looking contraption. Not sure if this is cool or not, but this could be a tank, this could be a tunnel borer. Any frame contraption will do, right? Then go ahead, get yourself a carriage. I'm gonna get myself another one. Carriage translocator. Take your translocator, put it in here, and you can see that you can craft it into itself, but that's not really useful. Go ahead and put a die on here, and now this is going to be labeled purple. I could go ahead and add another one, so that's going to be purple cyan. However, I'm going to get another translocator and put cyan on that one. So now I've got one translocator colored cyan and one colored purple. Very cool. So I'm going to go ahead and put down my translocator here. This is the purple one. Somewhere else, it doesn't matter where it is, it could be in the nether. Going to put another one down with the same labeling, and when you try to move it, look what happens. Both of them start to flicker. First this one really fast, then this one slower and faster and faster, and this one slower and slower. Then you've got your contraption teleported to this place. This doesn't cost any power at all. That's why I said in the beginning that it's so overpowered. So you could teleport your contraptions to anywhere. I could go ahead and put another one down here, cyan here, and the cyan here. And I could go ahead and move this over to there if I wanted to. So you see that it doesn't move to that one or try to move to that one or anything like that. They only move to the ones with the labeling. Now, what's cool about this is if you've got multiple ones with the same labeling, so I've got 3 right now with the labeling. If you teleport something, it's always going to try to teleport to the one that was placed first. So this one is the cyan one that I placed first. Actually, let me re-demonstrate this. I've got a cyan one here. I'm going to put a cyan one down here now. Cyan one down here now. Let's say one down here now. So I put this one down first. Now what happens if I try to teleport a carriage from here? That is going to move to this one, because this one is the one that was placed first that it can be moved to. Now this was placed first, but I'm trying to move to the second one, right? If I try to move this again, it's going to teleport here, because now this is the one that was placed first. I hope that makes sense to you. So let's move this again. And if I have another type of frame over here, frame contraption, if I try to move this now, that's going to teleport over there. So there are some very cool contraptions you could build with this. One thing is, well actually, one thing that I want to build and show on the tutorial is a room where you can select what liquid you want. It's going to teleport a open blocks or railcraft tank to you, and it's going to give you that liquid. So I hope that makes sense, but I'll show you that in a tutorial some other day. Very cool. So that's about it. There's one thing that I forgot to tell you in the beginning. If you take your engine and you right click with a, but this could be a motor, actually could this be a motor? Should be able to. Yeah, right. So right click with your screwdriver and it's going to put it into powered mode. What this means is pretty much just that as long as the redstone signal is here, it's going to keep moving. So now this will move forever because the redstone signal is still there. So it's constantly checking for a redstone signal. Now this can be hard to break. Oh, actually, I succeeded. There we go. And of course, if I have a carriage motor and put that to powered mode, and I do this, it can move. Actually, that's a bad example. There we go. It's constantly going to keep moving this, right? So very cool. There are a lot of things you can do with this mod. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Awesome mod by Jack J. It's available for Minecraft 1.6 and an older version for Minecraft 1. Actually, let's see. And also, oh, actually, the same version is available for Minecraft 1.5. So same features and stuff. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope this helped. Go ahead and click the link in the description. It's going to lead you to the Technic Pack forums where Jack J has his thread. Go ahead and download it. Again, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. Lots of tutorials coming up on this. Like the video, share it on Google+, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.